You can hear the chanting here in Philadelphia. It's just getting more and more excitement from this pro-Biden crowd. And now police, frankly, are getting in to try to separate these two groups. The pro-Trump folks not going anywhere. They're behind barricades now. Police trying to separate everybody. But it's just been an outpouring of excitement and emotion from what is a growing, larger and larger pro-Biden crowd. You know, of course, Philadelphia is a very blue area, and as word has gotten out, people have known this is where folks are coming to, and so they are just streaming in here to celebrate with like-minded people. And now it's going to be creating a more of a situation for police. Frankly, police are a little undermanned here. In the last couple of days, they've had dozens of police officers down here. Now, very few, and they're trying to keep everyone from turning any violence here. There's been some yelling and screaming at each other, but nothing more than that. But things seem to be starting to escalate just a little bit. Police trying to keep this situation under control. More officers arriving. So this has been a day and a moment that so many people have been waiting for, particularly in Philadelphia, because this is where Joe Biden made up hundreds of thousands of votes that he was behind because of the mail-in ballots that they began to count on Election Day, but the results didn't show up until Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, and turned what was a 600,000 vote deficit into what is now a 28,000 vote lead. And what's interesting is, I just checked the Pennsylvania Secretary of State website. It still says 28,000 votes, so it's not clear exactly why in the last little bit the AP declared this race. It's only been heading in Biden's direction, but they did so. The ballots that have been coming in have been very pro-Biden, and so they made that decision. This puts Joe Biden at more than 270 electoral votes, and so it is likely this celebration here is only going to grow larger and louder as the afternoon goes on. All right, so what we have here is a little psychological warfare. Of course, it's been a party for the last few hours.
Thank you.
The interesting part is it was the Trump crowd providing the party for the Biden crowd. Well, now they've changed the game just a little bit. What you hear right now is a Donald Trump speech. I believe it's his nomination speech from earlier this summer. So as you can imagine, the dancing has stopped. The jeering has begun. And now they're just trying to drown out Donald Trump. It gives you an idea that as far as one side is concerned, this fight is not over. In fact, I got this flyer from a Donald Trump supporter today saying they're trying to organize protests at the state capitol of all of the states, the battleground states, that help put Joe Biden over the top.
And hello, everyone. We are live here at 8:59 with News 12's Vote 2020 coverage. And we do have a team of live reporters covering these races, a live blog on news12.com, and a voter town hall happening right now on Facebook Live. John Murtaugh, our political analyst here, very quickly. John, your initial sort of thoughts on the night. High turnout, record-breaking turnout, almost certainly. What are you seeing so far? Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because here we've been watching the numbers in Florida, and we'll get into that just a little bit more in a bit. But it's looking like Florida is going towards the president. It was a lead, a so-called, so we could say a blue mirage earlier, where Joe Biden had those early votes, had a lead, and then as the night has gone on, it went to a tie, to a 1-point lead, now a 2-point lead. So we'll have to wait and see. It's still too close to call, but other states like North Carolina are looking a little different, and Texas now is looking close. So it's going to be an interesting night.
Again, Florida, no big surprises.
All right, John Murtaugh, thanks very much. Let's talk about some of these issues that we've been seeing. I've got John Murtaugh, I've got Lawrence Otis Graham with us. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today. Lawrence, I haven't had a chance to talk to you yet. What are your initial thoughts as we get into the early hours of this vote counting? John, where do you land on that? Do you see this as a voter suppression issue, or do you see this as more of what Lawrence was talking about at the end there, that for some reason, Joe Biden, as we've heard the last week or so, did not make the case to the Latino voters in a way that really clinched them, particularly the male Latino vote that a lot of Democrats expected.
Well, there's certainly been talk.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Scott McGee, and the time right now, 9:45. We want to take a look at our battleground state heat map one more time. We're going to start in Florida. 29 electoral votes on the line there. Right now, Donald Trump is leading in Florida by 3 points. He won by 1 point back in 2016, but he is really starting to take control of Florida. Now, at this point, it's still being called too close to call, but he has been essentially adding to that lead throughout the night. We'll have to wait and see if Joe Biden is able to turn that around. Let's move on to our next state, and that would be Texas. That's a state that a lot of Democrats have been trying to pin their hopes on, that maybe this is the year they can turn blue. Well, here we go. Donald Trump eking out a lead right now over Joe Biden. And by the way, that's 38 electoral votes. Whoever, if Donald Trump loses Texas, there really is no way he can win the presidency. Right now, he's winning. John Mertz, I wanted you to sort of weigh in on this. This was a 9-point win for Donald Trump 4 years ago. Now it's a 1-point win. Still a lot of votes left to be counted here, but what are you seeing?
If he does that.
That's a tectonic shift right there. And then we want to talk about Georgia. Now, this one is really problematic because here you see that's a 15-point lead for Donald Trump right now, and with 33% of the vote in. Now, in a lot of states, we saw that, we'd say this race is over. But the problem is, up in this area, that's Fulton County, that's the suburbs of Atlanta, almost none of those votes have come in yet. So although there is about a 350,000, 340,000 vote lead right now for the president, there is a huge number of votes that are still to be waited for in Atlanta, and that is where Joe Biden will either win or lose the Atlanta race. Now, do we want to go to Ohio very quickly? Yeah, all right, let's go to Ohio very quick. And here we go. We see right now, dead heat, just 50,000 votes separating the two candidates. This is one that most people were putting in the president's camp, but we'll have to wait and see. Still about half of the votes still left to be counted. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for watching News 12. I'm Scott McGee.
And I'm Tama.
Well, you could show some love this Valentine's Day by becoming a lifesaver. How about that? Today is National Organ Donor Day. Health officials say more than 100,000 Americans are waiting for transplants right now. Kidneys, livers, hearts are the organs most in need. We should remind you, New York, the worst state in the nation when it comes to organ donation rates. I think we can do better.
You can catch their full story coming up at 5 o'clock.
There's more to the story, and I want to see it. Love is certainly in the air this Valentine's Day, and local flower shops busy getting those special deliveries out the door. News 12's Lisa LaRocca brings us inside a shop in New Rochelle. Yeah, it's important to broaden the definition of significant other, right?
Yes,
someone that you work with closely every day.
Sure.
We all have our work wives and work husbands.
Absolutely.
That we probably spend more time with than our
the actual people.
A lot of time.
And speaking of love, we want to thank our producer, Michelle, who was kind enough to give us these Valentine's treats.
A bag of Valentines.
We love it. So now we turn our attention to the weather. Meteorologist Steve Teeling keeping an eye on the forecast. And the sun is out. That's lovely.
Yes, but in my mind, I'm thinking, I hope Steve got his bag of Valentines or he's really going to be upset.
I have to be honest, I haven't gotten them yet.
I knew it.
I think it's because maybe she hasn't seen
I
it yet
knew
because
it.
he's in the weather center. I think that's,
it's just a little poke in the eye on Steve right there.
I just can't lie. I just can't lie. But I know Michelle is probably shuffling right now to bring them into me, and I'll be holding them at the end of the show, guys.
She's pulling out the pocket lint right now.
Oh God, yeah. And if we ran out of candy, just save me some, okay?
Well, you see this? Ramapo police say they need your help locating the owner of this sheep. So take a close look. If you're missing a sheep, it might be this sheep, but we want to make sure we get the right sheep and you don't get someone else's sheep. They say this particular sheep has been running loose in the Chestnut Ridge area. Nobody wants the sheep to get hurt, especially if it's yours. So if you happen to know who owns this animal, if you're, say, missing a sheep, you should call police at 845-357-2400. It's very important. Welcome back. Let's take a look at what's trending on social media.
A Valentine's Day surprise for Stranger Things fans all the way from Russia.
Oh, I'm so happy. The hit sci-fi show releasing this teaser trailer for season 4. It's a big one because, as many fans predicted, it features Hopper's return at his snowy Russian prison camp, which of course makes no sense. I can't wait to find out why. No word yet on what the rest of the gang is up to or when we can expect that new season to hit Netflix. And Sam Smith releasing a new song called To Die For. He also unveiled it will be the title track for a new album. Demi Lovato continues her comeback as well with a feature on that record. The new album drops May 1st. And we also have one more update for you. We have been joined by a much happier Steve Teeling.
Look at this.
Who got the chocolate that he so richly deserved.
And I even got a note on mine. To Steve, love Michelle.
Yes.
Did you guys get a note on yours?
I did not. I did not.
No.
Yours was far more personalized. Mine was just the chocolate.
I'm gonna
Look at
sing.
that.
She was so kind to make these for
I know.
everyone. It's so proud. And when I was talking about it, I didn't realize that you didn't have one at the time. So
But the show came on fast. She was going to get to me afterwards, but she got to me during the show.
Thank you so much, Michelle, and to everyone else out there.
I got a new
Happy
Valentine.
That's right. Make
Day.
someone feel as special as Steve does right now. We'll be right back. In fact, our investigation found that over the last few years, the number of reported hate crimes has gone up significantly, especially in communities of color. As our Tara Rosenblum reports, hate at home is a real problem. And that's really the point of this whole conversation. How do we deal with the racism, both overt and hidden, that exists every day, Ty?
Well, funny you should ask.
They continue.
And that's just another surprise for me, the speed, Michelle, with which this has been happening. We already have some real reform on the books.
Here in New York.
Yeah, that's right, Michelle. I've seen it so many times. Bills I thought were going to pass get ground to dust by the political machine. This time, though, is different. A number of changes are already on the books.
We've seen it so many.
Now, another change in the works is that there's been a lot of talk about reinvesting dollars normally earmarked for police departments. Well, New York City has already done that. They've taken $1 billion that are normally earmarked for their police department, and Ty, they're putting that toward. Hey guys, yeah, you know what? Life goes on here in New Rochelle. This is the spot where they were handing out food to so many families here today. Hundreds of people coming by, picking up food because they will not be getting it at the schools. And it's actually become really the focus of not just New York, not just the country, but the world. There were reporters here today from Asia, from Europe, from the Middle East. They all want to just have a better understanding of what's going on because of the coronavirus. But you know what? On the other hand, people are living their lives. Check it out over here. You see a couple people just at the park playing basketball. This is what people do. They are trying to not let the coronavirus, completely ruin what they've been doing. Now, I got a chance today to talk to the mayor of New Rochelle, Noam Bramson, and he had some advice for the people of New Rochelle.
A resilient city.
So the mayor there really trying to emphasize to people that, of course, this is a containment zone. It's not a quarantine. People still should come here. They should try to experience New Rochelle as best they can. Probably a tough sell right now, but he's going to put that message out as much as he possibly can. Now, the other big news down here today is that the schools, not just the 3 schools in the containment zone, but all of the schools in New Rochelle are now closed for about 11 days. Or about 13 days actually when he put it all together. That will last until the 26th of March. We did have Beth Cephalou, and she has that story. First day of containment went pretty smoothly, I have to say. I wasn't sure what to expect when I got here into New Rochelle. And actually, there was a lot of movement. There's a lot of traffic. People were moving around as if there was nothing going on, and that was certainly what the city leadership were hoping for. But you know what? You have to admit, there was just a lot of unease here. I talked to one gentleman who is planning to go on a trip. He's worried that being from New Rochelle will be like a scarlet letter on him if people find out that that's where he's from. Another man I talked to, he owns a barbershop. He had 6 appointments today. It was down to 1 by the early morning. So there is an effect here. They did give out a lot of food here at this community center today. The National Guard definitely here to help. It remains to be seen if they are really needed to be used like they can be. They were just there sort of handing out the food. Whether there'll be more people here now that the entire school district is closed, that remains to be seen. And then the other thing is, frankly, is New Rochelle the outlier or is it the model? Because we know the numbers are going to go up over the next days and weeks. And so is this going to be copied elsewhere, or is this going to be something that by doing this here, they're able to arrest the rapid growth of the coronavirus? That is what we'll have to wait and see.